Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Well, there will be no Stampede fight song on this Monday morning.
Do we have another song?
There was
Do
your
we have
song.
another
There you
song?
That was it right there.
Do we have a reverse stampede?
We saw it last night, I think.
Yes, we did.
Well, this is a Monday morning. Well, it's actually Monday afternoon. See, we've already turned the clock over to next week. Time
Great.
to talk about those Los Angeles Chargers.
Boy, if we could just do that, that would be great, wouldn't
That's
it?
right.
Man.
That's
But
right.
we can't.
Just go straight to the future.
The old cliche is back to the drawing board. And I think that's basically what Mike McCarthy said after the game last night. They're going back to the drawing board on Wednesday with the long week, and then they'll turn their attention towards the Chargers. But we welcome all of you to Mick Shots on this Monday.
I didn't hear anything about a drawing board after the game. I heard a gut punch and ass kicking.
Correct.
And another
Well, we saw
expletive.
that. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah. We felt it too. Yes.
Yep. And we're here to dissect it all for you, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Mickey, what time did y'all get in? What's the charter?
I think we pulled into the parking spot on the charter about 3:50, maybe.
Okay.
I think my head hit the pillow about 4:40.
Oh, so you're in a good mood.
Oh, yeah.
Great mood.
How was everyone else's night?
Oh, it was bad.
It was rough. It was a rough night.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
You know, with me, it's hard to watch sports after we have a showing. If it's a good showing and we lose, that's one thing. But something like this, it's just hard to watch because we got so many that are just anti-Cowboys. They have a franchise off of being anti-Cowboys, and that is not what I want to hear today.
Can I relate it to the best thing that happened to me this weekend, which was a game at the Cotton Bowl?
I'm with you there,
here we
William.
go.
I'm with you
But,
there,
no,
William.
but to your point, okay, the feeling about when you have a game like the Cowboys had on Sunday night, where it's just a complete
Disaster.
Yeah, disaster. Okay. Fourth quarter of that Texas OU game on Saturday, I'm texting with a friend, and we're going back and forth. And I just said, and Texas took the lead. I said, I want my team to win, but I feel really good about my team, regardless of how this thing ends.
That's nice. That's
you know,
good.
and that's what
I
you
get
want.
that. I get that.
That's what you want as a fan.
Because you're playing, you're number 12 playing against a number 3.
and also it's just you're playing to your
base.
Yeah, you're playing to your sort of your potential, and you can see, okay, we're making progress here.
Yeah.
We're getting this thing turned around.
I felt
That
that
was a
way
fun game.
for about 10 seconds.
Of the Missouri
Yes,
game,
about
you were
10
ahead of
seconds.
LSU
They were.
for a long time, weren't you?
Yeah,
and
were.
they came back and took the lead
Okay.
until they blitzed the quarterback. I don't know if they knew who was playing, this Daniels guy. He's not going to throw a pass. He's going to run the ball.
That's right. You had a screwed up weekend, didn't you?
He was.
I forgot.
Mickey's
Mizzou didn't
having
win.
a
I forget
rough
Mizzou didn't
time.
win.
I'm yelling at my phone, watching underneath the plane before I went
I
on.
forgot they lost Savannah. I'm sorry.
That he's going to run the ball. I don't care if it was 3rd and 15. He was going to run the ball.
You guys had the
You know
lead
what?
for a
That's
long
kinda what-
time, man.
You did.
I
when
guarantee
I even
you.
looked,
I guarantee you.
I was pulling for them.
They were up. They were up.
Yeah.
I
kicking
guarantee
their ass.
Yeah.
Texas fans were thinking that about the Oklahoma quarterback too. Who would take off and run and get that
True.
first down.
Well,
too.
and he's not going to throw it, and then he runs 35 yards for a touchdown. I'm telling the defensive coordinator he's going to run the ball.
He can run the ball now.
No, that's what he does.
That's what he does, yeah.
You want him to throw it.
Okay, we're
All right, I
can
got
we
it.
That was
divert?
not a way to start,
we'll get
start
back
the
further.
weekend, was it, Mickey?
You were saying something, Spill.
All right, enough diversion.
How
Yeah,
about
now
how about
back-
not
back
worrying
to the
about how
task
you
at hand.
finish a game? How about how you start a game?
Yeah, man. And how you make adjustments during the game.
So tell me this, right from the start. I had this stat here that 7 games in a row, San Francisco took the opening possession and scored points, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. So why do you defer and give that team the ball so you can be behind right away?
Exactly.
One of the things you wanted to do was get ahead of them and make Brock Purdy play from behind. Never happened because you gave him the ball to start the game. Now, I was just curious about that.
Did you ask anybody?
I don't think it got asked, no. Maybe today it will.
Okay,
When
by you?
When people think twice about it, right?
You don't have your big boy pants on today, Spags? I want to see what. I want to be there for you in the press conference. I want to see what goes on.
So now you're down 7-0.
Now you're down 7-0. And that the running plays that they had, they worked throughout the entire game.
Especially on the first play of the game, it only went for 3 yards, but there was a 15-yard face mask penalty.
Well,
It made it
That
an
was
18-yard
to
play.
kick off the game, too. It was like,
yes, first play of the game.
Let's
Yeah.
just start off being over-aggressive, right? And make a bunch of mistakes.
kick it
worst-
off with a penalty.
The
Yeah.
worst part was McCaffrey, 19 carries for 51 yards, 2.7 a carry. I live with that, right?
That's what you want.
2 catches for 27 yards. He had a streak of 100-yard scrimmage games. It was long. And they held him in check. But some guy named Mason,
Yep, there you go.
10 carries for 69 yards. They end up
Well,
with a
like 26 of that came on after the game was out of hand.
Well, yeah, but he's still running, right? 170 yards rushing. So in 2 losses, they've given up 390 yards rushing. Or
But not,
92.
and most of it not to McCaffrey,
No.
to some other back in
And
2
then
days.
all of a sudden, they decided, well, we don't need to cover George Kittle. He hasn't scored a touchdown all season.
There was no coverage on him throughout the game. He just he was out there.
He had 3 catches for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
They had coverage on him, but you had defensive backs that didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Exactly.
You could just tell they were out of position, not only against the run, but also against the pass the entire time.
And maybe one of the reasons they're out of position on the pass is that this McCaffrey cat behind the line of scrimmage. McCaffrey, even though he had 19 carries for 51 yards, he affected that game and what the Cowboys had to do defensively to try to contain him.
Yeah,
You're giving up something else.
And Deebo Samuel.
They also found a way to stop Micah Parsons from getting into the pocket.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time they did that. I mean, every time I think Micah plays against them, he seems to have a problem finding the ball. They seem to have a very good scheme against him that seems to keep him off balance the entire game.
How about this
This
novel-
was no different than what we saw in the championship.
How about
in the
this
playoff game.
novel idea? They're running a fullback. Oh, I forgot to print that out. Darn it! How many Usyks had snaps?
Around 28.
28. They're running a fullback, but you're playing 3 safeties, just 2 linebackers.
Yep.
Very rarely did they have 3 linebackers on the field with Michael lining up as a 5th guy on the line of scrimmage. And they're running right at you.
By the way, he was on pace to have 40 snaps, but he didn't, like the rest of the starters,
Yeah.
he wasn't playing in the fourth quarter of the game.
I mean, it was almost. There was a couple times they were running a fullback and 2 tight ends,
which is what they do.
and the Cowboys never
Which
adjusted
is what they
their
do,
personnel.
Bill.
Yeah.
So if this is what they do,
if you look
why
at-
are we acting like we don't know that's
if
what
you
they do?
look at Juszczyk, his snaps, he had 28 in last night's game, but against Pittsburgh he had 42 snaps. Against the Giants he had 42 snaps. He had 36 last week against Arizona. That is what they do on
I know.
offense. And when I talk about McCaffrey's effect, it's that the threat of the run game, a physical style of play, sets up everything that they do.
I just thought they needed to, make an adjustment. But they kept doing the same thing.
It seemed as if it seemed like almost like a trap block scheme when they would run up the middle because they were coming across, shielding off Parsons from getting inside, knifing down, and they were splitting them up the middle the entire time. Anytime they needed a big run, that's the play that they went with. And it seemed like even if there wasn't a big run, it was going to be 3 yards. It was going to be 5 yards. And they're going downhill. No one's getting stopped. No one's getting met at the line of scrimmage.
They got
Everything was a gash.
Right.
You know, and
It's an
had
aggressive style.
It had them off balance. So you got your safeties off in there now. You got Bell off in there. You've got J-Ron off in there. And they just seemed extremely, first of all, they seemed a little panicky and ineffective. J-Ron's, I thought his play last night was subpar. 2 penalties, if I'm not mistaken, in the first half.
One clearly lining up offside.
It wasn't
What
even.
the heck was
the snap.
that?
It wasn't.
At
I'm
the
like,
snap.
I'm yelling at my son. He's offside.
Yes.
What
It
is
was so
that?
obvious
And the
'cause it
guy
was
next
right on
to
the
him,
yard line.
he
Yeah.
should have been like, "Hey man, step back. You're offsides." I mean, he was right there. Wow, that just.
And then the Donovan Wilson too.
Oh, and wait a second. How big was the curse?
What was that?
But how big was the curse offside? It was a third down play. It was an incomplete.
We're
But
ready to get off the field.
But everybody watching the game knew there's a flag. Well, there's a flag on that one.
Well, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. We all knew.
It's one thing to be in the neutral zone, right?
Yeah,
It was like.
The neutral zone you can argue.
He was lined
with,
up in their
right?
backfield.
And this is not Tolbert. This is not a rookie named Tolbert now, like we had last year, right? Remember Tolbert lined up offside. He's a rookie. We gave him. Come on, man. What's J-Ron's deal?
Gregory used to do that a lot too.
See,
where
if
he'd
it was-
line up offside.
Not that bad.
No,
back
he
to
did.
Randy,
In fact,
back
I
to
think it was
Randy.
against San Francisco too, where it was like the first series of the game.
No, man.
He was lining up offsides. I'm like, what
What
are you
is we doing?
Yeah.
See, if that happened on the other side, with Trent Williams 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, I could understand
Right.
it. You're thinking,
Right.
okay, I got to get closer.
I think what happened was he was guarding Kittle, and Kittle was lined up as a slot.
Yes,
Right.
he
So
was.
He was matched up. He was getting close to Kittle
So he-
to
Yes.
be physical, and he
Reroute
lost
him.
his
Yeah,
presence.
Bill, we know what happened,
Yeah, right.
but that still shouldn't have happened. I know exactly why, but damn.
Take us back.
Right.
Okay, Savannah, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Jeez.
Okay.
Oh, my
Okay.
goodness.
No, you were making a point, so
No,
I just had to
Donovan
follow
Wilson.
up on that.
I mean,
one,
it was
'cause-
just really the penalties, and then
Yeah.
even the Donovan Wilson one is the one that really set us back. Because
Oh,
what
don't
we
get
were
me
on
started
third down.
on. Don't get me started on that one.
It was third down.
I missed that
for
So here's
the Niners.
to me.
and then they went and scored after.
I don't know. Do we have time to do this
We got
before we
all
take the break?
time.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got, yeah.
So
Next shot, you can do whatever you want to do.
Today.
here's what happens. Here's what happens. The Cowboys finally get a first down and a second down, first down and a third first down, and they score a touchdown.
Wait, I'm looking through my logs. When did that happen? Oh, it was over here in the third.
Yeah,
Second-
yeah, you got to look down the line.
Second quarter. Second quarter.
Yeah.
All right. They drive 78 yards on 11 plays and score a touchdown. Great pass to Cavante Turpin.
His best pass of the season.
Right? They come back, and it's 6:16 left in the half. And it's 3rd and 4 at the San Francisco 46-yard line. Wanye Thomas breaks up the pass to McCaffrey. Wilson's coming in to make the hit, and incomplete. And then all of a sudden, here comes John Jenkins, the field judge, from 20 yards away, not only throwing a flag, but throwing his hat too, right? He calls.
We had 2 flags.
So there's 2 flags. One, unnecessary
I didn't know that's what
That
they
was
did
so
when they
bad.
ran
I
out
mean,
of
they ran
flags.
out of one
I
flag.
did
They
not
throw-
know
they
that.
throw
That's
over.
new. This is
Unnecessary roughness on Wilson. He basically hit the guy with his shoulder pad to the shoulder pad, and then their heads bumped.
Yeah.
Okay? And so not only that, Curse is standing there, and he was actually kind of posturing towards Wilson's hit. So the flag is for unnecessary roughness, 15 yards, and the hat is for taunting, 15 yards. Well, you only get one. So now, instead of them punting, and you had some momentum going forward, you're 14-7, and you got the football. But no,
Game might have been totally different.
15 yards. Hey,
Momentum.
I may believe that, but
but it was an opportunity to have a possession to tie the game, which they never had again because they went right down the field and scored. And by the way, on the play before that, Purdy throws the ball away, and they said he was outside the tackle box.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
He was straddling the line, and Gene Steratore said, well, you only got to have 1 foot outside the tackle. It's like, that's BS.
I didn't know
he
that.
wasn't outside the tackle box because they drew the line on the broadcast.
I thought Donovan Wilson's call was a celebration.
No, curse.
On the curse.
Curse was
the taunting.
See, they
call.
and they
Wilson
You
was
mean
the
when the
hit.
guy was down on the ground, right? And he
Yes.
came. Oh, well, he was.
he was.
Yeah.
Wilson was
Wilson
trying
had
to
the
break
hit.
up the pass.
Wilson
Yes.
hit.
He hit him.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a celebration thing
So
that they were talking
They
about.
screwed it up so bad.
Taunting, he'd say.
Yeah, but he
It was a
wasn't
miss-
taunting.
yeah, it was
They
he
a
wasn't
screwed
taunting.
call.
They screwed it up so bad they called both of them on curse.
That's
the
true.
unnecessary
That's
roughness.
true. That's
he
what I
wasn't
heard.
even part of
Right.
the play, and they're trying to figure it out on the broadcast. Well, Curse didn't do that, and so they screwed up the announcement. And finally, the play-by-play, when I looked at it, they got it right. That the unnecessary roughness was on Wilson. DeMarcus Lawrence, after the game, was still pissed about it. I mean, he was hot when I brought it up. And he was like, why don't they have a guy watching the game in New York? You know, they could reverse it. Well, they didn't care.
I thought that I think one time, and I think we're talking about the same time, where they got him for taunting.
Right.
And I don't think he was trying to taunt him by pointing. He was trying to get over him, right? Because he had knocked him down. He was trying to step over him.
No, he never was part of the play. Never.
Curse was standing over him after Wilson.
Standing was he wasn't
just-
over
yeah,
him.
they,
he
like,
was
met
to
in
the
that same
side,
area,
and he
and it was
went
just
like
there.
this.
Yeah. That's what
Okay.
he did. But yeah, he was standing over him, but he was trying to get by him. He wasn't trying to stand over him.
He wasn't even close
You're
to
right.
him.
Right.
But again, okay, so what if you get the punt and you have the ball and you just had some momentum driving down the field, scored a touchdown, finally, right? Got a first down finally. It's middle of the second quarter.
I think that was my only hope of the game, and then it just went.
Yeah, I was like, here we come.
Which-
I was
We were
ready to go.
downhill from there.
Which, by the way, they only finished with 8 first downs. That matches
really bad.
the 4th fewest in a single game in Cowboy history.
Remember the last time when they had 7 first downs in a game? It was like 15, 16 years ago, that late game at Washington, which was one of the worst performance, maybe the worst performance the Cowboys team has ever.
Well, this one was pretty
up there,
close.
Yeah.
This is up there.
Yeah.
This might be up there.
I finished by saying I've never been so wrong about a game in my entire life.
All right, and we're going to talk more about it when we come back here on Mix Shots.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker, Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, we continue here on Mick Shots, and not only did the Cowboys lose the game handily, but there's big-time concerns on the injury front as well, as Leighton Vander Esch, of course, left the game with a neck injury. We know his history with that. X-rays negative last night. He's undergoing MRI today. Cavante Turpin with a high ankle sprain, reportedly.
And they, he was ruled out, so it had to be of some significance. As a matter of fact, when he left the field, he didn't go to the locker room. He went to the tunnel, which to me, he was going towards the X-ray room.
And their speculation is high ankle sprain, or reportedly high ankle sprain, which would be 4 to 6 weeks. And C.J. Goodwin had a shoulder.
And Jordan Lewis a foot.
Okay.
So at one point...
And Donovan Wilson left the game late, but I'm not sure, with a lower leg injury, lower right leg, and I didn't hear a report on him.
Somebody else left with a cramp. Was it Bland?
That was Bland.
So at one point, you were without 3 cornerbacks. Lewis, Goodwin could play corner in a pinch. They had to play Igbenogany, and
he went
was
right after him first play.
He was lost. He had to go play in the slot. Yeah, exactly.
And it was a penalty that negated the play. On that topic, and I know you've got other stuff you want to get to here, but when you talk about injuries, I looked it up this morning, and all credit to the 49ers, what they did in the game and they've got clearly, in my opinion, Eagles may have something to say about it, best team in the league. Mm-hmm. But the other thing they've got going for them, they have lost 0 starters or key reserves to injuries this season. I looked at their injured list. They've got 3 rookies on their injured list and 2 second-year players who were not key backups for them on the injured, either on injured reserve or the PUP.
Must be nice.
And and that's one of the keys to being able to sustain this for the long haul, is keeping guys healthy. And I went through their whole roster. I'm like, every single one of them. And in last night's game, Aaron Banks, their starting left guard, left the game. He's got a biceps injury. We'll see the severity of that.
The guy that threw the punch.
Yeah, and but they've got John Feliciano came in for him, and he was a 15-game starter for the Giants last year. So
look, San Francisco's good. You don't win 15.
Brock Purdy's good.
15 consecutive regular season games by accident, right? And basically, what I wrote, I said they're in a league of their own right now.
Right now, they are.
It's true.
And they got some help. So tell me this: on the Pollard fumble, if you're out of bounds, any part of your body, and the ball's still in bounds and it hits your foot,
it's out of bounds.
It's out of bounds. And that's what happened.
I didn't see it hit his foot.
It hit a guy laying on the ground to keep it in, but it didn't go out of bounds. Mm-hmm. It stayed in bounds, but it hit the guy's foot that was laying out of bounds.
Well, you're saying it hit the guy's foot. Everson's saying it didn't hit the guy's foot. So what we're looking at is it because the call on the field was a fumble recovery,
right?
Is it indisputable evidence that it hit the guy's foot? It was amazing how that ball stayed in bounds.
That was
it
wild.
was just
it was
that's
like,
too much. That's too
when
much
that
for me.
happened,
Well, to me,
First of all, it
when
hit
that
the other
happened,
player. That kept it in bounds.
kept
hit
it in
the
bounds,
number
and then
one.
it was rolling like towards out of bounds, and it just took a left turn back in.
That's
Sure
because it
did.
hit that guy's
And
foot.
then the guy lands on the ball, and he's basically an inch from the sideline, okay? An inch from the white, and then it immediately hits the white after he...
I had to laugh at that.
Yeah,
I had to
it was
laugh
like
at that.
When I
Like,
saw
whoa,
that,
this is crazy.
When I saw that, I said, this is not going to be the
No,
Cowboys
this is
night.
And they had every single camera angle that they showed for the replay. Just
But to
every
your
direction.
point-
But what
It
did you
just
guys
wouldn't-
see?
it
I
would
agree with
not
you.
Hit his
get
foot?
out of bounds.
Did you see it hit
I
his foot?
couldn't tell.
To be honest, I don't know.
I
It
can
don't
see.
know.
I can see
I
where you
didn't
think
see
it.
it. I don't think
I
I
didn't
hit.
see it hit
It
his
hit
foot.
2 feet.
Yeah.
First
I didn't
guy,
see either
and
one.
then the second guy.
It may have, but they didn't have a clear enough angle to show as many angles as they had. There wasn't a clear enough angle to make it.
Well, how about the
indisputable.
person that was 3 yards from the ball? What were they looking at?
Exactly.
Well, and the other thing that they do on that is if it's close, they will call it.
Yes, I know.
They will make the call of a fumble so that they get the benefit of the review.
Right.
You know,
And then they got the review.
So then it's a catch-22 because the call on the field was a fumble recovery.
Yeah.
Now, if the call on the field wasn't, then they might have been. There wouldn't have been indisputable evidence that it didn't hit his foot. But as it turned out, it was academic because 2 plays later, Jordan Lewis,
How about
in the
that?
course of getting run over by McCaffrey, has the presence of mind to take the football
Which
away
was
from
nice.
him.
That's a really nice play.
McCaffrey's ability to keep his balance worked against him.
Yeah.
He didn't hit the ground.
Because
And-
it landed right on top of
That was
Lewis,
still a good
right?
play.
now
Still a
what
very
happened?
good play.
What did happen there? So the 49ers didn't score, but then the Cowboys couldn't get it out of there. And so then they're punting the ball away out of their own end zone, and on the first play they run the reverse flea flicker
Right,
to Kittle
right.
for the touchdown, 38 yards.
That was
And what you see is, you really still have a lot of inexperience at our safety position. It's just that's the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. You had
No,
guys
they
in there.
don't.
They really do, I think.
Hooker's like in his 7th or 8th year.
I
Donovan
really wasn't talking about Hooker. I was talking about
in the
J-Ron, and I was talking about Bell.
J-Ron's in his 7th year.
Well, he screwed up a lot during the game. I can say that much.
But it's not from inexperience. Now,
Marquise Bell.
Bell was laid on
He
Kittle.
looked a little lost
right?
yesterday.
He looked lost a lot during the game. So I can say that much.
Yeah. But he was sort of playing linebacker instead.
It doesn't
of-
matter. He
But
still was
again,
lost.
yeah. Can I get a 250-pound linebacker out there?
Well,
And that's the main
to that
thing.
point, if Vander Esch is out for any length of time, and hopefully he's not, but that's a position that was lacking in depth to begin with.
I was told, because I asked that question, I believe it was to Dan Quinn. I said, what happens if one of your starting 2 linebackers, what's next? And he goes, well, we always have Parsons. So I still think
And then you come in with a D lineman or something?
Yeah. Could you put Dorrance
But
Armstrong?
was that in reference to if you lose them in the course of a game, or
No,
are
I
we
meant-
talking long term?
I meant,
Yeah.
I meant long term.
Yeah. I don't know if his answer was long term or not.
Well,
2 words.
they don't have any other choice.
Right now they don't.
Jefferson.
And I think what I was looking at, when you would run with the tight ends and then you come with the fullback, you had Bland trying to come in and plug the holes in there sometimes, and that wasn't working either. You just had the personnel itself was not made for the
What San
tight
Francisco
end
was
and
doing.
fullback, what they had.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I did love it, but the fact that they let them get away with a few penalties. I saw Parsons trying to make a loop inside, and Williams just grabbed him.
Oh, bear hugged him.
Yeah, and he just let him go. And,
Did you
and
hear?
Parsons
Did you hear what happened?
I did.
He started complaining to the head referee.
I saw that. You can see it.
And he hadn't turned his mic off. So he told Parsons to basically shut up and get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was easy. That was an easy call. I mean, he had him, and as soon as the guy went, he just let him go. Punt return as well. You saw a gunner, just being held up to the right side of the returner, and he went this way for 49ers, and they didn't throw a flag there either.
Home field advantage.
Yeah. Then the Pollard just Pollard slam after the play. But you know what?
But they got beat 42
Yeah,
to 10,
I was gonna say, will that make a difference? What kind of difference can those plays make?
Well, my play.
One play?
One play
Mm-hmm.
to turn the game around. Because what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays later they scored.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Schefter is reporting that Cowboys special teams ace C.J. Goodwin tore his pectoral muscle and is out for the season, per source. That was 7 minutes ago.
All righty. So what about Turpin?
And the reports earlier this morning were the high ankle sprain, 4 to 6 weeks.
This would have been his game. They kept kicking it short. He had plenty of time to return the ball. This would have been his game.
Who else do they have in for returners? They had one for Deuce, and then didn't Rico Dowdle? He had one too.
Dowdle had the first one or two, and then they put Deuce in at the end. Mm-hmm. It was basically.
I mean, how do you supplement for Turpin?
Well, I just miss him as a potential wide receiver. I mean,
both.
I'd have to go look at the touchdown. He just ran away from the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't, because of the nature of the games that have been played so far, we haven't seen the blowouts over now what is apparently bad teams. Now the Giants are 1-4. That was a 40-0 blowout. Mm-hmm. The Patriots are 1-4. That was 38-3, and they just got beat again 34-0 by the Saints. And the Jets playing without Aaron Rodgers, 30-10, a team the Patriots beat. But you didn't see Turpin used the way you would think that he will be used in what is anticipated to be a close game.
I was surprised.
It was great because he was lined up in the slot on the left. He went in motion to the slot on the right and just took off. And they had no answer. And it was a great pass.
Yeah, it was the best play I've seen him have all year. That was the best
and
play.
A great catch, Willie Mays.
So that's one we're going to live off of for the next week. The Chargers game next Monday night, and we'll be back with more Mick shots in just a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Check out the latest and greatest addition to tours at AT&T Stadium and at the Star in Frisco. Meet Jerry Jones, an interactive experience. Get a peek behind the curtain and into the fascinating life of Jerry Jones with a focus on innovative fan experience in partnership with AT&T. This interactive technology gives tour goers the opportunity to ask Mr. Jones a variety of questions. For more information and to book your tour, visit DallasCowboys.com/tours. What is so funny? Why are we laughing?
I'm so sorry, Savannah.
What is behind
so
sorry,
it was over your
Savannah.
shoulder. Savannah,
So
you had
sorry,
a
Savannah.
great read
Thank
there.
you, Savannah. I'm
but
so sorry.
I had to get
That
Everson's
was
attention.
him. That's blame Bill. I'm so sorry.
was it?
Because they had
Belichick sitting back there looking pitiful, man.
He said we need to make improvement.
No, but it was just the visual.
The look on his face.
It was just
It
the
was just-
visual. There was a shot of Belichick at his
Just
press
horrible.
conference or whatever, and he just looked
It
like
was worse than that move. It was worse than this move.
Oh,
It was just-
man. It was
yeah.
like he lost not only his puppy, but both.
And he's got to be nice about it too. He can't be a jerk about it.
Belichick's nice.
No, he just has this one
You
little
can see he's kind of
one-word
being soft
He
with
can't
his.
say what he wants to
right,
say.
right.
Yeah.
He's not as abrasive. He actually feels it looks pitiful.
So now he's had his largest home loss in his New England coaching career. It said, and the largest loss ever.
He loses by 35 here and 34 there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati.
He's got to be a little humble about it.
And
So
by the
he
way,
can't be
I
mean
mentioned
about it
the
anymore.
Cowboys, the last time they lost by more, they lost to the Saints by 32 on November 10th, 2013.
Sean
49-17.
Payton kept throwing to that fullback on the out of the backfield.
Fullbacks seem to give this team trouble,
can
right?
Can we defend that play? 2013 was that? Was Rob Ryan the defensive coordinator? Or was that Marinelli?
I think that was his last year.
Okay, yeah, that game should have been the last game.
What did tell me post game press conference? What did Dak have to say for himself?
Oh, he said that was a humbling defeat, probably the most humbling defeat he's ever been involved with.
Mm-hmm.
That's it?
Well, I mean, he went on for 15 minutes.
Yeah, he should be begging.
He was talking about also like how this week they all need to lock arms and get together and, that locker room reset. But I still don't think he totally took the accountability for everything that happened last night. And that was one thing that I picked up.
Well, there was a lot of extenuating circumstance that the quarterback's got to take blame for. The deep ball to Cooks, number one, he shouldn't have thrown it. Number two, he had two guys bearing down right in his face.
The first one, though.
Wasn't that the first one?
Well, the first one, he threw it out of bounds. If he leads him,
was that to Gallup?
No, that was to
Cooks?
That was to Cooks. He threw it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Well, Warner was trailing him. They were bragging about how Warner was keeping up with him. He was not. He was about 5 yards behind him. Dak just throws with all he has. If he throws it towards the end zone, it's a touchdown.
Yeah,
he led him out of bounds. To me, these are those moments where you're Dak Prescott. This is the moment where, okay, that pass was a moment for him. Chris Collinsworth kept coming up, well, this is a moment for Dak Prescott. He said that before every drive. But that particular moment, he should have led Cooks towards the end zone, and that would have been a touchdown for about 60 yards plus.
It was a 25-yard and a 75. It would have been a 75-yard touchdown. It was first play of the last possession of the first half. 50 seconds left.
I mean, he had him beat. When
they connect on that, it's a 21-14 game somehow at halftime.
Right.
He had him beat. That's the moment where you've got to make that play.
By the way, and if Mickey had gotten his call on the play or the penalty hadn't happened earlier, then that play would have happened. It would have been a 14-14 game at halftime.
I'm just
We're
saying,
gonna get this
man.
thing turned around.
I'm just saying, man.
Right.
Yeah. But that's where he needs to take the blame for some of those moments where, dude, you're getting paid all this money. We want you to be a top quarterback. You want to be considered in that realm. But those are the plays that put you up there. Those are the plays that put you up there.
And by the way, okay, and I'm not dreaming that the Cowboys are going to somehow win that game. Okay, it was 42-10. But you're right. if you make plays like that, even the way that game was going, that makes it 21-14. You're getting the ball to start the second half. As it turned out, you were down 21-7. You got the ball to start the second half, and you had a field goal.
And your play calling is totally different if you're in a better position.
In a tight
it's
game.
totally different.
Okay, so I got one more for you. They had 3rd and 4.
Oh, here we go.
At the 3rd and 4 at the San Francisco 31.
What juncture in the game are we here?
It was in the 3rd quarter, I believe.
This one stood out to me too. This was just it was
and
bad play calling.
I got 2 asterisks by it. They handed the ball not to Pollard.
Whoa.
To Rico Dottle.
My son went crazy.
On 3rd and 4.
And he lost
third down.
Lost the yard.
It was so bad.
My son, he was like, I kind of had turned away or something. He's like, what are we doing? I thought maybe it was 2nd down.
And
that was the first drive of the second half.
And that led
to the 50-yard field goal by Aubrey.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, he's still kicking the ball.
Thank
great.
God for him.
I was
There's
watching
one
him.
bright spot. It was Brandon Aubrey.
Hold up, we're bitching right now.
I was watching. I was watching him in warm-ups,
mode.
going to the Cowboy bench left. He hit from 58, and going to the right, he hit from 56. He was crushing the ball.
Okay, but back to
that play. Now, the only thing I could qualify that as in his mind, he was 2 plays to get the first down.
But we ran 1 play.
Well,
because he
lost the yard.
Blew it up.
Yeah, and then it was 4th and 5. But he's thinking, well, if we at least get 2 yards, I'll go for it on 4th down. Because at that point, they're down 21-7. You deferred so you can have the first possession of the second half, and then they get a field goal, not a touchdown.
Well, and they had, on 1st down at the 37, they ran the ball with Pollard and lost a yard.
Which happened a lot. Which happened a lot. I mean, I have questions about our offensive line. This is the first time that we've had them all together since 2021.
It looked like it.
It did. I was very disappointed in how they blocked or didn't block. It just made no sense to me. And I'm still curious about did they even go over in detail like Dak's interceptions? Because the last interception to me, it's like, man, did you just give up on this? Because that same quick slant route is the same interception that he was throwing all last season. And for him to digress to that point, when you drop back and your foot hits the ground on this West Coast offense or Texas Coast offense, the first thing you need to know is where is the linebacker that ended up intercepting that pass? Because it's going to slant right into him. Did he not see him? First of all, I don't believe that if he says it. How can you continue to make that same mistake, for this offense that is supposed to be new for you? It looks like last year's offense when it comes to making those same mistakes from the quarterback. I thought that was just unacceptable that he still threw that same slant route and the linebacker came over and intercepted it. For him not to see that, that's digressing. That's not making any progress to me.
How about another tip ball and Warner gets an interception?
Well, and not only that, the DB was totally in position.
Right.
It wasn't like he had a chance for that. The DB beat him to the inside. Once again, they know we're running that little quick slant crap. We've been doing that since last year. They know it, they read it, they look for it, and they make plays on it. And we fall right into that trap. Something's got to be said or done about that. We can't keep doing that. It's like expecting something different to happen after it keeps messing up over and over again.
And Fred Warner, the entire game, you could tell the pressure Dak Prescott had on him from just Fred Warner.
It's like
he's like the ghost for Dak Prescott.
If I don't know
it's
what
like
happened.
looking in the mirror.
I don't know what happened
Dak
elsewhere
Prescott.
around the league as far as defensive players, what they did yesterday, but Fred Warner got my vote for NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
I agree.
In that game. And by the way, speaking of that, think of the Niners on their defense. They had Nick Bosa was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year last year, and he's not the best player on their defense. Fred Warner is.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
at least against the Cowboys.
And they added the best player on Philadelphia's defense last year in Javon Hargrave, who had 11.5 sacks last year.
So they had 4 sacks, 6 tackles for losses, 9 quarterback hits. 9. It was rarely clean in the pocket. And I think he, at times, was playing to that. Like, I got to get rid of the ball. And he just never looked comfortable. Whatever they were doing in this offense, he did not look
You can say that for the
comfortable.
last 3 times we played them. Right?
And they probably have something to do. But this is a different offense,
Okay.
right?
It seems to be worse.
Wow.
Was that supposed to be an endorsement?
This is the West Coast offense.
This is the Texas Coast offense.
Yeah, you know what I called it? The Gulf Coast offense.
Wow.
And this week, we get to go up against the former offensive coordinator here in the Los Angeles Chargers. There's
Great.
storylines every week.
It may be best that we don't play at home this week. That might be better that we are on the road.
So you
Thinking that
you think the hometown crowd might be a little
I've been through this,
irritated?
guys. We were 1-15. Our only win was in Washington.
Can't be worse.
Our only win was in Washington. Okay.
Go to New England. Did you see what happened in New England after they finally got a first down?
Were they booing?
There was a standing ovation.
No, it was
in Foxborough.
Sarcastic
The
applause.
Bronx cheer. The Bronx cheer, right?
Bronx cheer in Foxborough.
Oh, man.
I think they've gone 38 possessions without a touchdown or something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Well-
so it's worse elsewhere.
If there's anything good to be said, there's still 12 games to go.
If there's anything good to be said, go Rangers.
Go
There you
Rangers.
go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Good to be said.
All right, and we'll be back with more Mix Shots coming your way tomorrow at noon.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!